come up on the upper Stour today. There's a nasty skimming wind. I'm struggling to find a swim where I can get in onto the bank. There's lots of reeds, nothing's been cut on this end. There's a tree down in one of my favourite pegs that needs a saw. And what I'm going to do is to fish with some bread punch, mixing up some very fine crumb, which is how I started bread punch fishing. Never used the continental ones, and nowadays I use things like gross gardon and gardon. And this is just a brown crumb. It's a bit stodgy actually, I don't know why, but it's mixed quite soft. And then I've got a couple of homemade bread punches which float. One's a 16 punch, one a little bit smaller. Set up a Normark Titan 2000 with a size 16 barbless, an insert waggler, fairly simple, taking about 2.5 treble A, and a number 6 and a number 8 down the line. I'm guessing the depth about 4 or 5 foot, and it'll be interesting to see how I get on. So the wind's a bit skimmy, the ground bait's a bit pasty. I don't quite know what to do with that, but I think it will break up. Mixed it up quite sloppy, and I'm expecting roach. I've seen 1 or 2 small chub. I've got some maggots that are turned into casters, so I can always try a caster maybe on a smaller hook later on. They won't be sinkers, and you're gonna have to keep this bread out of the sun with it. So it turned out quite warm and sunny now. It was cloudy earlier on, and see how I get on. I'm going to fish about I suppose I'm going to fish about 2/3 of the way over. It's very easy to get carried away with a ground bait, so I'm going to just put it in about every third trot, not too much, just a little ball about the size of a walnut, and feel my way on the depth. I think it's fairly clear out there. I seem to have hooked some weed. If it's absolutely no good, I'll go upriver, but give it a try. It'll be interesting to see what this cloud bait sets off, whether there'll be a few roach, might pick a chub up, might be nothing. This isn't a swim I fish very much at all. A friend of mine once came very close to winning off it. I seem to be dragging under a lot, so I'm going to just shallow for 3 inches. Float just gently dipped there. There's a little tiny chublet about 1 ounce, so it's something. I'm expecting some roach really, but I don't know. So I may have to move up river and find somewhere a lot deeper. The thing with bread punch is it's a quick bait to work. If it's going to work, you usually know within half an hour, whereas casters can take hours to work. It's a fast bait. I think I just missed a bite then. Another tiny chub. A bit wondering where the roach are. Might be going up river soon. As ever, the planes are plaguing me. Well, I've given it half an hour. I've had half a dozen tiny chub. It's really not very good. No sign of any roach. I'm going to see if I can find somewhere a lot deeper further up. And I don't think I'm going to get out of the way of the wind, but there you are. Let's try somewhere else. I've moved back upriver to a good swim. What I'm going to do is get rid of this waggler and put on a top and bottom float with the same hook, but something to get the weight down. There's a bit of a skimming wind here as well, but it's not as bad as further downriver. It's certainly a frustrating day so far. I've got a homemade alloy stem, like an Avon, but with a pole float tip. It takes about 6 BB, quite sensitive, and I'm hoping that will do the trick. Last time I fished here, I had one or two nice roach, small chub. I've had good chub here in the past, so you never know. Right, ready to begin. Quite what we're going to get here I do not know, but hopefully some roach. When you move the float, it's always worth wetting the float rubbers and wetting the float before you put the rubbers on in the first place, so they slide easily without generating lots of heat. I'm sticking with this groundbait and bread punch. That's what I've come out to fish with. I've done better with flake and liquidised in the past, but see what we can get. Not much if I can't cast out there. Just put in a little nugget of ground bait. I've got far too much ground bait. On the last swim I ended up with I think it was 5 or 6 tiny chub up to about an ounce. And in the end I was getting tiny bites and they were just minnows at shallow swim. That's not really what I want at all. Let me get some roach. I need to find the flow. That cast is nothing like far enough out, which is about 2/3 over there. Let's just let it close in. Close in, it's quite slack. And the float's dipping a bit. I don't know if that's dragging on the bottom. It's dragging on the bottom. So we must be close to the right depths now. Let's go out further. I'm now slightly too deep. Just knock off 6 inches. just off the bottom when in this time of year. Well, a roach at last, only about an ounce. It's a start. Very good bite. Let's see if we can find a bigger one. Small dace. Whatever that is, it's that little, another little chublet. They give bolt bites. Well, it's a roach, but not very big. It's just over about an ounce and a half. This one at least feels a bit bigger. Still a chublet. Bigger so far, 3 ounces. Finally a little roach. Feels a lot better. Half decent roach. Swing that. Look at that. 4 or 5 ounces. A bit better. That's a bit better. Feels like a roach. Oh no, small chub. Just a 4 ounce chub. Trying to con me it's a slightly better roach. About 6 ounces that time, a bit better. Feeding these little walnuts of groundbait every cast, and although I'm getting tiny chub and little roach, there's some slightly better roach amongst them. Missing plenty of bites as well, lots of tiddlers, but there's definitely, now we've got something bubbling there, which is interesting. This is what happened last time I fished this swim. I might go just a little bit deeper in a minute, not much. Just add 2 inches on the float. In a way, this is quite a nice way to practice bread punch fishing. I'm getting lots of bites, feeding regularly, nothing clever, just ordinary brown crumb, which is not quite mixing how it ought to do. A little punch on a 16 and a nice sensitive float and lots of bites. And some of the bites are just minnows, which is not so good. So very different this time. It's almost like a perch just grabbed hold of a minnow. bastard. Peculiar. Well, I didn't see that. I've ended up with over 30 fish, mostly little chub, getting on for a dozen roach up to about 6 ounces, 1 or 2 tiny dace. Good fun fishing. Lost a big fish, may have been a chub, might have been a big perch taking something small that was nibbling at the bait, like a minnow or something. I don't know, never will, because it got off under the reeds. The way it went in there suggests it's more of a chub than a perch, but who knows. I certainly lost it anyway. Say, bread punch is a good cheap way to fish. I've used just 1 slice of bread in 2.5 hours fishing, and a little bit of ground bait, which isn't mixing right. I need to have a look at maybe baking some of it, see what happens, dry it out a bit, see if it mixes much better. It shouldn't be mixing. It's quite a sort of it's almost like a doughy mix there. It shouldn't be like that. It should be more crumbly. It's like a lump of dough. Not to worry, and until next time, it's goodbye for now.